And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Jacquelin Smith, internationally known star and animal communicator, light linguist, and author of 3 books. She's been communicating with star beings, interdimensional beings, and animals since early childhood. In her new book, Star Being in the Mirror, My Journey as a Hybrid, she chronicles her lifelong encounters with star beings. Jacquelin, welcome back. It's great to have you again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, for those of you who are meeting Jacquelin for the first time, which probably is many of you, I had Jacquelin on about 2 or 3 years ago talking about her NDE, and she's back today to talk about other stuff. So if you want to see that video, I will post it in the description below, or I'll make some kind of comment with the links. Jacquelin, let's start from the beginning and tell us how you became a hybrid being.
Yes, so when my mother was pregnant with me, she was taken aboard a ship and they injected me with what I call a cocktail of 7 different kinds of DNA from 7 different races. And so I was genetically altered, and that's why I refer to myself as a human star being hybrid. And, not everyone is genetically altered. In the larger sense, we're all hybrids because we're all from the stars. And we all have different mixes of different races in us. But because I was genetically altered, it makes me a little different in terms of my energy. I have a lot of star being frequency, we could say, in energy in my DNA. And so that allows me to be able to speak from the star being point of view and the human point of view as well.
Did you ever have a conversation with your mother about being taken into the ship? And if so, what did she reveal to you?
With my mother, I did not approach that. She was someone, the star beings actually blocked her memories because they knew she would not be able to handle it. And so I never had a conversation with her about that.
What are the 7 races that are part of your DNA?
Okay, so there's one called Kobar, which is a race of beings that they are from, they refer to themselves as being from the 12th universe, from this universe. Arcturian, Zeta, dolphin-like being, tall white, Zeta masters, celestial being, and also what I refer to as kind of like a chameleon-like being. These are the best words that I can find to describe what the 7 different.
It's interesting that you told us about the dolphin being, because I've had a couple people during their near-death experience go to the water planet and be with aquatic-like beings. Do you know anything more about them?
Well, the dolphin-like beings are amazing. Actually, I do work with them. And they are amazing beings. They're dolphin-like. And the dolphins here on Earth, we could say, are distant cousins from those beings. They originally came from those beings, and they're amazing. When I see them, they're like about 30 feet long, and they have this beautiful rainbow, I'm calling it rainbow tail, but all the colors are frequencies. So it's the frequencies that they carry. And the dolphin-like beings are very highly evolved, and they can move in and out of whatever dimensions they want to with ease. They don't have to be in a starship. So they're amazing. They do healing work with humanity. The dolphins here are doing healing work with humanity as well.
If we go back to your childhood, at what point do you realize that, one, you're different, and two, when do you start having contact with ETs?
Actually, I've had contact all along. It did take me, I knew early on, but then you could say it kind of went underground for a while. And then I started to gain memories. It's been a lifelong journey. And so when I was very young, I knew I was different. I felt I didn't fit in anywhere. So that was a definite challenge for me. And I felt like, as many experiencers feel, I felt like I had been dropped off here and just left behind. And so that's been a real challenge to deal with. And I'm in this human body, but I feel much more star being than human. But I appreciate my human body and being in the human body, so I understand what it's like to be human from the star being perspective.
Do you think this is your first incarnation as a human?
No, I feel I've been here before, but I have many more incarnations that took place in other galaxies and star systems and universes. So Earth is still a bit foreign to me, and the way it works is still kind of foreign to me because it's a very dense planet. And being in star being form and being on the ship, the Starship I was on when I was a little girl, there's not that density. It's just the Starship I was on is just love and light, no time.
What would you say your mission or purpose here is during this incarnation?
Yeah, I think I have a number of missions that I'm doing. I think always the key thing is to remember that I am love and light. We all are, divine love and light, and to share that with others. But I do feel my mission is to work with other people, to talk with other people about my experiences. And I also do quite a bit of work with helping people get connected to their star families and to begin to understand light languages and different things about how starships work and just about the universes in general.
Do you recall any pre-birth contracts that you made prior to coming here as a star being?
Yes.
What can you share with us?
I remember them asking me if I wanted to come to Earth, if I would come to Earth. There was a council of beings who I discussed this with. We all discussed it. So we were trying to decide from the soul level, what would be, I don't know if you say the best choice or whatever. And so I chose to come to Earth. And I remember making that choice. Some days I go, I'm not sure what I was thinking, but but I love Earth. I absolutely love Earth. And so I think that here I am. My soul decided to be here. And I feel like I'm here doing what I'm supposed to be doing, talking about star beings, and that also sharing about, I've had 3 near-death experiences, so sharing about that. But I always think the most important thing is the messages from the star beings are the ones I communicate with are about love. And the Starship I was on, they love unconditionally. So it was an amazing place to be. And so their messages and my message that I've taught for well over 40 years is we're all one, to live from the heart, and try and keep things as simple as possible are some of the key messages that the star beings come through with, because they truly understand what it means to be one. Humanity is still trying to understand what that means.
Are you in regular contact with them? And if so, do they have any urgent message for humanity?
Yes, I'm in contact with them pretty much every day. It's just a part of, who I am. The mantis beings are around me all the time. And also my star parents, who are tall white Zeta masters, not the same as the tall whites in Nevada that Charles Hall talks about, but this is a whole different group of beings. So I think that I forgot what you were asking now.
Since you are in contact with them, have they given you an
Yeah.
urgent message for humanity that we need to hear?
So the star beings have communicated to me that the timelines are collapsing, and also the grids are dissolving and new grids are being formed. So it's very important, with things now accelerating at a very high rate, that we pay attention to to what we're doing in terms of, are we living from the heart or are we living from the mind, ego? And they have said to me that living from the heart is very key, because it's so, in this world, is so easy to get lost in all that's going on, to be pulled out of ourselves. So their urgent message really is for us to be in touch with ourselves, with our hearts, to be aligned with heart and soul, and to do what our heart and soul are asking us to do, and to not get off track with so many things on earth that we can get pulled off with. That is their urgent message at this time.
Well, I really like that you said that you love Earth. And so it would be great to have some positivity in this podcast. So, what is it about the Earth that you love so much?
Well, Mother Earth is an incredible being. She's magnificent. I mean, all we need to do is look at nature, right? I mean, the trees, the sky, walking on the ground, walking in the grass, all the animal beings here. And there's such diversity here. And to me, it's an amazing place to be. Not every planet offers what Earth does. And Mother Earth is going through her own ascension process. She's shedding old patterns, we could say, or old energies, old shells, old grids. And so she's supporting us, supporting humanity and other beings with their ascension process. And we are also sending Mother Earth love and light to support her in her process as well, is how I see it.
How do you communicate with the beings?
telepathically, and they will come to me when they want me to know something, or they'll just show up and I can see them etherically. They'll show up. I have mantis beings are around my house all the time. They're in other dimensions, but they move in and out, which I absolutely love. They're really a fun race to communicate with. All the races I communicate with are loving. They're highly evolved. So I totally enjoy being in contact with them. So it's telepathically. I have had some experiences that were quasi-physical, a couple that were actually physical.
Mm.
So it's just a part of my life.
Can you tell us about the physical contact you've had?
So there were a couple of experiences, actually more than a couple, but I had a friend who was working on me. She does craniosacral work, and we always I kind of introduced her to the star beings, and I said they'll probably be around, so we would invite them in for sessions. And one day she was doing a session working on me, and I happened to look up and I saw a man walk by the doorway that was open. And I said, "Is your husband home?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, a man just a being, walked by the door." And she said, "Yeah, I saw that too." And that being was as physical as you are. So that was a wonderful gift to have that experience. And then when I had what I call my Thanksgiving experiences, which was a series of 2 weeks of being on starships and a mothership, a star being came during that time and actually was standing in my neighbor's yard. I could see him. He was Arcturian Zeta. He was blue skin. So he was hiding behind a tree, and then he would jump out. And this was like at 2 a.m. And I was out there because I was watching starships in the sky. And so this being came out, and I said, "Come closer. You don't need to be shy." But that I saw him clearly for probably over a minute. So I could see his blue skin and he actually turned out to be a being who was my nanny on the Starship when I was on it. As a child, I was on a Starship off and on until I was a teenager almost, at classes during the night. And those were amazing experiences.
Can you share with us what the Starship looks like from the inside?
Well, the Starship is it's really holographic. It's really not physical, but you could think it's physical, and it can go in and out of being physical, or I should say being more dense or less dense. So when I was a child and on the ship, starting at 3 years old, I would float, not walk. There was really no floor, but it seemed that there was a floor. And so the ship was round, that my perception, all the walls were round. And what I loved is I could like run up and down the hallways. They let us be children. I call them my star parents, Zezu and Amitha, and the other beings on the ship just let us be children. On the walls of the ship, there were symbols, or I call it light language or star language, that were on the walls of the ship. And those symbols or codes would come off the walls and dance with me, and they would enter me, and they were raising my frequencies. the star beings had the ability, because they are really one with the ship. You know, they set their intention, they're really one with the ship. They can expand the ship to be as big as they want it to be, or as small as they want it to be. It's just all about the different dimensional spaces and that. So they actually showed this to me. And it was just amazing to see how in an instant they can expand the ship outward. And on the ship, you could see what would appear like a wall. But if they wanted to, they could make that disappear in a moment, and it just could be open space. So it's not solid, you know, it's not, to me, it wasn't dense like here on Earth. And so I had wonderful experiences on that ship with the beings and the ship itself, because the ship is a conscious energy. So the star beings and the ship connect. And often the star beings will set an intention with the ship. And then whatever they want to manifest, they can manifest. Or if they want to be in another dimension in 2 seconds, they can do that, because they just know how to work with that.
Do you ever go outside either in the day or night and see UFOs in the air?
Yes, I've seen a number of them. And also when with again my Thanksgiving experiences, I call them, during 2013, they invited me to go outside, and I saw 7 starships in the sky. And it really was amazing. And then a starship came out of a portal above my house and went right over me and flashed a light into my eyes, which again is an amazing experiences. And then not long after that, they took me on a mothership, and I had all kinds of incredible experiences on that ship with many other star beings, many different kinds of races. And they did healing work on me. They had worked with my eyes. I didn't know that at the time. And this was going off and on for like 2 weeks, going off and on the ships and that. And so when I came back from one visit on the ship, I put my glasses on because I was using glasses at the computer and I couldn't see things very well. It was blurry. And I took my glasses off and I could see things perfectly. So they had definitely shifted that, you know, when I was on the mothership.
What do the ships look like from the outside? Like, are they saucer shape or disc shape? I mean, or round or?
Yeah, I was on the ship, so I'm not sure about the mothership. The mothership was really just huge, you know, just huge. But when I was 14 years old, I was standing in my backyard and clear blue sky, middle of the day. I look up and there's a round saucer, silver saucer standing still in the sky. And so what I came to understand is they had then taken me on board ship to prepare me for the hybridization program, because I have hybrid children.
Hmm.
And then they brought me back and I watched the ship just go straight up faster than anyone can describe.
How many hybrid children do you have, and what ET races are they?
Well, I have about 40 hybrid children. And the reason for that is because of the way they do things. So there's different ways that they can create a hybrid child. One is through putting an implant in a woman. Another way that I know I've experienced all these ways. Another way was they can take the DNA from my hair. So they would take strands of my hair and they can create as many hybrid children as they would like to, which is a lot easier way for sure. And also I had the incredible experience on the ship when I was older of actually a mantis being and me stepping out of our bodies and our energies merging and creating mantis hybrid. I call them children. They're not children, but I call them children. And that I could see them in front of me. They came out of these spheres of light. And I could, right before my eyes, I could see them growing up. And the mantis beings are master geneticists. So they have the ability to grow up the hybrid children as quickly or as slowly as they want to. And that was that experience was amazing, that you can just merge like that and then create these mantis beings. So I've communicated with the hybrid children. Usually one is the spokesperson and talks, 40 is too many to try and talk to right at once, especially.
How do the hybrid children respond to you? Are they lovingly, like a child loves its mother?
Well, it's not like a human, but they do love me. They have told me that. It's a myth that star beings don't have emotions, because they do. And some people think because some of them do not have expressions on their face or appear to have them, that they don't have emotions, and that's not true. So my hybrid children do love me, and they do have the human part. So that love is definitely there, but the star beings have that love as well. And when I was on a ship, I was in a class there were 8 of us kids, and we used to go and interact with a group of hybrid children on the ship. So they were different mixes of humans and different ET races. And I got really close to one little girl named Azalon. And so I was teaching her more how to be human. Like we would hold hands and swing our arms like little girls do, and have a fun time. And she was teaching me more about telepathy and about the star being part of me. And at one point she couldn't stay in her body anymore. And the guardians, the star beings on the ship, are amazing. They really care about the hybrid children. And so they were there. We had this ceremony where Azalon left her body in a very conscious way. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. I just watched her body just kind of disappear, and she became this light. And what's interesting is when I had my hybrid children, she became one of my hybrid children who they integrated on Earth in a different country, because she looked just like me. So they had put more human DNA into her than more star being DNA.
Do you think all the ETs out there are benevolent?
No.
Have you interacted with some bad ones?
In the past, I did have some experiences that weren't great, but I choose to focus on the positive. And the beings that I communicate with are very highly evolved beings. They're all about unconditional love. And the ones I communicate with are interested in supporting humanity, Earth. You know, they're really connected. They have connections here to Earth. They love Earth, and they have told me that. So I don't really put my energy into the other. I don't communicate with any beings who I know are of a lower frequency. It's no judgment. It's just I choose not to connect with them.
Do you think it's possible that any of your NDEs accelerated your ability to communicate with the star beings or had any effect on you as a hybrid?
I think that's a great question, because my first NDE was when I was 6 years old. And I remembered going in to the light and being with the angels, but they also were with the star beings, the ones who I call my star parents way back then. And they did healing work on me because I'd been hurt. I'd fallen down a lot of stairs and that. So they did quite a bit of healing work on me. I really didn't want to come back. And they said, you need to go back because you have things to do on Earth. And that, it was just that way. So I think that how I view the NDEs and being a hybrid and all of that is about expansion of consciousness. They're like initiations. I see the near-death experiences as initiations in order to expand consciousness, to understand there's many more realms and things than one might think, being on Earth. So I definitely see it as an expansion and growing, the soul growing and learning and expanding.
What's the difference between your star parents and your earthly parents? And what would classify beings as being a star parent?
I feel that humans on Earth, we're still learning to love unconditionally. And my star parents on the ship, Zazu and Amitha, they just love unconditionally because, they're evolved. They're not in a human body. They have a body or a container, but the essence of who they are, they showed me their essences, and they're just this amazing light. And my parents were both star beings previously, so I became aware of that, but my parents were never aware of that. So it's me. Many people are waking up now and better understanding, I think, unconditional love, that we're all one, and that's who we are. In the end, that's who we are, love and light. We are source. So it's quite a difference, I think. On the ship, we were allowed to be kids, and I've really felt unconditional love on the ship. Didn't really feel that with my Earth parents.
Now, you also have the ability to speak light language. First of all, what is that?
Light language is sacred geometry, it's frequencies. Light languages are speaking light, really, the best we can with the vocal cords that we have. So with speaking light languages, the frequency just comes through me in a way that can actually help shift things, that helps people to get more aligned with their authentic self, gets them more in touch with their multidimensional selves. The beautiful thing about the light languages, and I also call them a number of star languages, it's kind of a light languages is a broader term because there can be the light language of our soul. There can be the light language that we bring in from Divine Mother, Father, but there's the star languages from all these beings that I also speak that come through me. So they bypass the mind ego, which is terrific. But our soul, ourselves, our blueprint understands the frequencies, and that's what helps people to be able to shift. Like when I do a session with someone with light language, they always tell me how it changed things, or it shifts old patterns. It helps us to let go of old patterns and to release the old and come into who we really are.
Would you say that you are channeling the light language, or do you hear it and you're repeating it?
I could say I become the light language. Some people might call it channeling coming through me, but when I am doing that, it's like I am the light language at that point. I am those frequencies that flow through me or are here.
Earlier, you said the grids and the timelines are dissolving, I believe. What are the grids?
So my understanding of the grids is that they are the basic energetic structure of things. We could say the sacred geometry. So Earth has her own grids, her own sacred geometry, her own frequencies, which would be different if we go to the Lyran system, or the Arcturian system. They have a whole different grid system, a whole different, which would consist of different sacred geometries. So everything is shifting in a really basic way. It is dissolving, but new ones are now forming because we are now ready for that. Humanity is now ready for that, and the earth is shifting. So it's connected to the earth too, because of the shifts she's going through as well.
Is there anything that we should be doing to get prepared for the shifts?
Yeah, the shifts are going on. They've been going on. They're accelerating. And the key thing really is for us to be in touch with our hearts and to live from our heart and our soul, and to do what we feel we're here to do. Because as I mentioned, there's so much chaos. There's so much chaos in the world. It's easy to get pulled out of ourselves and get off track. And so the key message is to be in our joy, to express our joy, to be in our heart, because that really is the basic thing.
What do you think is going to happen between now and the end of the year? And were you shown anything?
Yeah. So here's the thing that the star beings have told me this is that because there are so many different possibilities with timelines that nothing is set in stone. It depends on what the collective decides as well. And that's what will really take us where we're going, what the collective decides with humanity. Mother Earth will continue to ascend, but with humanity, they really need to make good choices at this point and to really, we just really need to be aligned with our hearts and souls, is what I've heard over and over, to understand that we are all one, which it appears on this level people are not understanding that. Or, what I do to someone else, I'm doing to myself. And I wish everyone on earth could understand we're all human, we're all of the same family, and let's work together in cooperation and unity.
Do you think that we're going to have open contact with star beings and see them walking around on the planet with us? And if so, do you have a timeline for that?
So I maybe come from a little different perspective, because a lot of beings are around us right now. They're just in different dimensions and we don't see them, but more and more people are now perceiving them. They've always been here. When Earth was formed, even before that, they were here. And so I just have a different perspective. To me, they can be right. I've seen this. They can be right here in front of me. They can actually be in the same space. It's just they're a different frequency. So I don't think that I'm aware of that we will be anytime soon be seeing them how we might perceive as being totally physical and walking around with them. That would be very, very far down the road.
Well, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that?
Yeah, they can definitely email me. They can contact me.
What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so my website is www.jacquelinsmith.com. My email is jacquelinsmith@jacquelinsmith.com.
What other things are you doing that you want people to know about?
There's a wide variety of things that I do, services that I offer, like light language sessions with people. I do light language with them, and play singing bowls while I'm doing that. I do sessions, star origin sessions, where I help people get in touch with their basic star origin, get them connected to their star families, give them word frequencies to call them in, and also give them the frequency of their essence that they use to continue to activate them. And also I work with many experiencers. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, so I have the wonderful opportunity to work with experiencers, helping them process their experiences, and I do a lot of that work as well. I do psychic readings, so I'm lucky I get to do what I love. And I have lots of free downloads with light languages. There's a free ebook about the mantis beings that someone can download. Also, a number of audios of the different star languages.
Once again, your new book is called Star Being in the Mirror, My Journey as a Hybrid. If people want to find out more about it, do they go to your website or Amazon?
They can order it either through my website, if they live in the US, if they live outside the US, Amazon, but people can just go to Amazon to purchase the book. And I wrote the book because I really wanted to share my experiences with others. Many people have told me it's helped to wake them up. It's helped a number of them to remember some of their experiences. And there's also some light language, some star languages that I've written for peace and joy, that I really think people will enjoy. So they can see all that there.
Well, before we finish up, can you give us a light language blessing?
Sure. La kaleato to sulo, tuitel maha, unahia kokoa nahala, usukure nahala, jokura la kalia, ira kurukara mahasa, ulokura kariita, moho la karieta, ushama karieta, ai, umatoa, makara kikea, I anakukua tale, mosu u alaka a u makikia I o ma usu la kalita lanaha. Musa hohe honakalita umhatasu usha I o una rokara moro torelike mukurukari itananate. Isi anakayeta ula utukurita nikike natara ina ulokoromi I sakare ikirara kurukara a ula ikura kuroka ma I ano usu umile imekara ula uanaha.
Jacquelin, thank you for your blessing and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure, Jeff. I'm grateful to be able to share about my experiences and that. And I really hope it, benefits everyone. And the blessing, when people listen to that, it will really help them to open their hearts.
Well, I'm grateful that you were willing to come and share with my audience.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.